Hey.
You smell so good.
Thank you. I took a shower.
I know, it smells good.
I took a shower today. No. I had a good workout. I had to hop in the shower.
You smell so good.
But I always make sure we are here on time. So loving.
Wait, pause.
What?
Did you just say you always make sure we are here on time?
I'm here on time. You usually in front. I'm talking about you. With my Baltimore accent.
Did you see my shirt?
You know what? I wasn't a big Friends guy.
Me either. I didn't like the show, but we had Friends.
Yeah. No, okay. Okay. All right. I see you. I see what you was doing. I see your vision. But it's a Love Business on Lock podcast. I am the franchise Jay Clarke. This lady to the left of me goes by the name of...
I can't see.
You said what happened?
I can't see.
That's your name? I can't see?
No, but I really couldn't see.
Okay. All right.
Glasses?
Now, who's to the left of me?
Dr. Casa.
Don't you just say Cassandra? You want to be slick. I can't say.
Can you just bring out amazing
yeah, I'm not. My name is Jay. The same thing that my mother named me.
Can you
my
bring
mother
out guessing?
named me.
Can we bring out guessing?
I am.
Okay.
But you want to be slick. So I'm trying to be slick. Yeah? But no, this show means a lot to the both of us. And the crazy part was while I was getting ready, I heard Cassandra talking to our guest, and I didn't know that the gentleman played such a part in her career also, right? He played a big part of my career. We'll talk about that. But let's bring the guests on. My man Marc, Clarke, and Allison Seymour. What's going on, y'all?
What's up, family?
What's going on?
How y'all feeling?
Good.
You know what's crazy? Let me say this, Allison. Like I've heard
so beautiful.
I've heard about you for 20 years, but we've never actually met.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
We never actually met, which is absolutely crazy because your significant other, your husband, plays such a pivotal role in my career and my success. I'm not going to necessarily get into it right now. I will a little later.
Allison
but
is so beautiful.
That is crazy that I've never had a chance to actually meet you. I don't have my watch on either. Is
that why you were late?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We started on time. 7 p.m. Eastern.
I'm sorry.
We did. We started on time. 4 p.m. 4 p.m. Pacific. Okay. All right. We good. But no, I never had a chance. Crazy that we never had a chance to actually meet.
He wouldn't let any of us meet. You think he didn't like us?
I don't know. Was that a plan, Marc?
No, see, let me first of all, I feel like I know both of you because through the years I've heard so much about both of you. So, so my mind's filling it in like what we never met. But I think back in the day, so we were both working mornings. I'm on the DC side, Marc was on the Baltimore side. And so, when you get home from that morning shift and then we were raising kids, like we had 3 back to back, I was like this. So when Marc would have events in Baltimore or get with friends or whatever, I would be so exhausted on this side. So, I don't have any excuse for the last, about 10 years, but for the first 10 years of y'all's relationship, I was tired. So that's my excuse. But I consider you family and I love the relationship.
I understand because during mornings with this guy, I fell asleep behind the wheel. I almost killed myself. I hit 3 parked cars.
Oh my
goodness. And for disclosure, when I woke up on top of the cars, I put the car in reverse and the truck came off the cars. Yeah. I looked around. I don't see nobody.
You went to work.
I went home.
Oh my gosh.
I went home. And they incarcerated me a few hours later. They followed the old trail. They followed the old trail, and I was actually in between, places. So I was staying at my parents' house for a few months, and they locked my ass up right at, right at Labor Day. And at that time, we didn't necessarily have a program director, so Nikki was interim.
Oh wow!
Nikki was interim, and I missed the shift. And she was trying to figure out why I missed the shift. She was called. They like, he's not coming. Well, why? What's wrong? He's not coming. His ass was in central booking. Down off of Green Mountain Avenue.
Right.
But no, so I understand the morning, but how are you doing? I mean, what's going on? Bring us up to speed.
Well, we are doing great. So let's go. We'll do career-wise. I think, Allison left her station of around 20 years.
Oh, about to hit that 21-year mark. I had to go.
And she left and she went to another station and she's
Here in
killing
DC.
it. She's killing it. We had a brief run at WHUR as, which was great, a morning afternoon show for about 18 months. They had us for about 18 months, but y'all know how radio do.
Right.
That kind of sucked. But it was great to work together.
Yes, it was.
And so we still, and we still do the show on a digital platform. It's, from iHeart to all the others. It's 100 Hip Hop and R&B FM. Lorenzo Ice-T Thomas put it together, and it's cool because we actually have seasoned veterans on, which is rare. Cheryl Underwood does the morning show. Kay Fox, Kokalani does the morning show. Kay Fox does midday. We're on. Lorenzo, and then Cayman Kelly. Cayman Kelly. What did I say?
Coca does midday.
Yeah. And so we're still doing that. The girls are all home because of COVID, which is great.
Yeah.
Right. Our oldest is a sophomore at Hampton.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Our middle child, she tried Lincoln, but she didn't necessarily love it. So
let me take over. She was at Fisk, and she went to Fisk. Nashville was a little too far for her, so we're in a little transition thing right now. She's hoping to transfer into Lincoln.
There we go.
And then we have a 16-year-old, so she's a sophomore. So this house is like a schoolhouse. I go to work in the morning at the station, but we do the show from here. So this building that was a home is a home. It's a school building. It's a workplace. It's everything during COVID. But we're healthy and we're here and we're with you. So it's all good.
And today I launched reinventingmarcclarke.com for the last 30 days or so. Right before the end of the year, actually in November, I started this whole Reinventing Marc Clarke thing on YouTube. And so every morning at 7:15 on Allison, Marc in the afternoon on Facebook Live, I do a message at 7:15 on the treadmill. And so I've kind of we've grown the little group there. I have a group on Facebook, Reinventing Your Name. And we got about 70 people in the group now. And once again, y'all both have known that I've been have a job, not have a job. Have a job, not have a job. So this journey, which is life, is at this phase, I'm building that reinventing brand, and I'm excited about it. I was thinking about it the other day, like I was telling Allison, we've been married so long and you've had different experiences, namely when you're in that phase where you're trying to figure out the financial, figuring out your career. The cool thing about being married a long time is that you've been here before and you've won before, and you know you're going to win again. You know you're going to win again, but it's that point between where that you learn those valuable lessons, because you can't have faith and fear at the same time. But it's an interesting place to be. And I know, Jay, I know you can relate, my brother, and I know you can too, Cassandra. Right. So it's like but it's all blessings, because when you have the right partner, they got you. Period.
Right. It's funny because on Wednesdays and Fridays, I started kind of doing this food for thought, and just things that I've realized and came up with, and lessons that I've gotten over the years. And I just talked about, kind of your why and why you do it. And we talked about peaks and valleys, and I excel in the valley. It's okay. I've been there where, I lost my $90,000 car and I was on the radio and I was evicted from, my place in Ellicott City. I've been there. I've been there where I had to go sleep on my mom's couch and I had to go buy a hoopty that my kids were making fun of me. I pulled up to pick up little Jay. He said, well, this doesn't look like a Jay Clarke car. I said, if you don't get your ass in this goddamn car, boy, or you're going to be walking. It's a Jay Clarke car right now while I'm in this valley. You either get in or you can walk to Owens Mills. It's okay. Figure it out. But I'm not, we excel. The lessons, that's where the growth comes in at. in the valley because everybody loves the wins. When we went in and we making decent six figures and cars and vacations and it's good. What happens when that stops and you hit a roadblock or you hit something? Those are the times where the growth comes in at. So we overstand.
And we
don't
commend
understand.
you guys.
We overstand.
We commend you guys. I've always said that Marc and Allison were the original media couple, the power couple. Like I've always said that. I used to tell people, oh my God, he's in radio and she's in TV. How is that? Like, why would anybody in their right mind do that? But then look at here, Marc. What did I decide to do? I used to be like, what? Oh my God, how do they do that? Like, oh my, I can't believe it. So to watch you, and not just to watch you from afar, but to watch you as like a little sister and to watch you guys' relationship, it's you guys were Black love before people started talking about hashtag Black love.
That is true.
You guys were. So the question is, how do you do it? You're on two different spectrums. Like you're in news, which, as I know, because that's my background, is very And Marc, you're in radio, so you can have a little bit more fun than we have. So how do you guys do it? How do you manage?
So I really believe that the reason why we're successful is because we're in sort of related fields. You know what I mean? And I think it would be hard to do it with somebody who didn't understand the business, because although news is like this, it's still, at the end of the day, it's still like being out somewhere, seeing somebody, oh my God, you're my girl. We were pregnant together. When you had on that outfit, you was bad that day. So somebody who understands that you're going to get that. And so then when Marc is out and, runs into people, oh, I grew up on the Big Fat Morning Show and all of this, like, I understand what that is. So there's no competitiveness. There's no jealousy about how people react to him. He understands what it is. I'm going to tell you, for about 5 months or so, I was working at home in the studio downstairs when I was on Fox here in town. And Marc would get up with me in the morning. And because he's got a media background, it's what he does. It might be different mediums, but he knew, okay, babe, can you help me set this camera up? Can you check the lighting for me? Can you, they can't get me at the station. Can you try to troubleshoot for me or get on the phone with, the people at the station? Because he was free and was able to do that. But because he has the background, he understands the urgency. So it wasn't like, oh yeah, okay, let me get to that in a second. No, bro, I'm about to be on. And,
Right.
Right? We about to be live. And so it only helps. It, like, we play off of each other in the same thing. And for me, I don't necessarily fit into the anchor woman box in that it's kind of whatever. I'm always trying to like sprinkle little motivation. You got this, girl. I love being Black. All these little things, trying to sprinkle it in. And so with what Marc does, which is information, entertainment, we feed off of each other. Yeah. And so I'll say, is this too much opinion? I don't want to give him too much, or I don't want to give him, whatever. And I hope I do the same thing with you. So our businesses they kind of go like this. And I think what's made us both successful in our respective fields and when we're in this house, because we have respect for what we do, we understand what we do, and we know that it can all go away the next day. Yeah. And we still would be together. So yeah. So that's for me. I'm sorry. I know I over-talked.
No, Allison's, and also Allison's hilarious. That's the thing about the show. Like the show we're doing now online, it's the best because I think we didn't get the chance to really do it on HUR, but what we're doing now, like Allison's just really funny. And Jay, when we first started dating, she used to get mad because, not mad, but I would always be like, oh, you funny. Like every time she says something funny. Because like you said, not the normal news anchor type. You know what I mean? Right. And it took a couple years for me to quit saying that. Yeah. It would drive her crazy because she would just always, because she was funny. Sure enough, Dick Gregory told her, you got a great sense of timing. You're funny. And so If Dick Gregory say you funny, then you know you're funny.
That's a
Yeah.
humble
Yeah,
brag.
say that. Say that.
Right.
Say that.
Yeah,
You
so
know-
so it really we find that it works. But I want to
Right.
thank you. That was a very sweet compliment what you said about us.
No, I mean, but
It's the truth.
that is
It's the
true.
truth.
Because
It's the truth.
because Mark spoke about you every morning. You know, he really did.
I used to tell him, please don't talk about me so much. They're gonna be like, man, forget her and her kids.
Right. No, I mean,
No.
they
No.
really he talked about you, and it was almost like we knew you because the picture he painted. And
We knew the kids. We knew everything. Like Mark wears his family like a badge of honor,
right,
as he's supposed to.
right.
Yeah.
He really
Right.
does.
And it's funny too because people still talk about what Mark has done, you know, in Baltimore, what he did, the foundation that Mark built with, you know, with his team. They still talk about, you know, the Big Fat Morning Show. There has not been a morning
We
show
show like it.
that has made the impact in that market like you did. You know, you did, and for me, I want to give you your roses while you can still smell them. The reason why I had the career on radio was really because of you. I was trying to figure it out. I got on that big fat ass bus with you guys. The ad didn't work. Y'all were crashing cookouts on 4th of July, and
Yeah.
Victor was coming into town. And you said, man, Jay, for somebody like you that's on the street real heavy, you need to sit down and talk to them. We're taking them to dinner. You may want to do the same thing, but you need to have a conversation with them.
Wow.
So after he had that first meeting, I said, Victor, you know, hey man, I'm Jay Clarke and I mix. I don't have, you know, I'm not on every day. I run the record pool. I'm in the street. I do all these parties. I want to talk to you. He said, man, let's meet. We met. You guys had an issue because the guy you had mixing was bringing in dats. You know, you didn't have a live mixer
I was going to say, what's that?
on you know, well, they were pre-recording his mixes.
Okay.
They were pre-recording his mixes, and his show was a flagship show of the station.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, why does everybody else got a live DJ and we got 5 mixes on a DAT?
Mm-hmm.
And Victor like, hey, here's your live DJ right here.
Wow.
And the problem was he didn't tell the guy that I replaced. He didn't know. He didn't realize that until he heard me on the radio that Monday. But it was hard because I was in the street. I mean, I would be brushing my teeth in the truck on the way to the station coming down 83. But it was because of that specific conversation that you know, I ended up having with the new program director, and you know, the rest was history. And I dealt with a bunch of different program directors, so you had to deal with different thought processes, and you had to deal with that. And I want to thank you because there would have been no 18 years of me being on radio without that conversation that we had. So
Thank you, Marc.
I wanted to tell you that because I don't know if I ever had a chance to tell you that. So I told Cassandra, I said, I'm really excited to talk to Marc today because I hadn't sat and talked to you in, 15 years. I just hadn't.
Wow.
You know, I know you were good. But I just hadn't had an opportunity to have a conversation. So I'm sorry to give you that long soliloquy, but I had to get that off my chest, Marc. Thank you, man. I just want to tell you thank you so much.
You got him crying.
No crying. Yeah, no crying.
I will say that definitely the Big Fat Morning Show was a show that it was before its time. You know, it really was the blueprint for how a morning show should be. And I'm curious to know, Allison, you work morning shifts, you're in news.
Mm-hmm.
Marc, how has it been support? Because I know from the news side, sometimes you just need that person to support you. You hear about murders, you hear about death, you hear about the crazy man who was just in the White House. You know, how has it been as a support system to each other?
Well, I think Allison, she manages that so well. but it does get to her, like that just negative news every day. I think that's why she loves radio so much, is because it's fun. You know what I mean? She's in a game where every day there's a murder story, you know. Whereas for me, the radio piece, from that support, you know, it's different. I mean, it's fun. It's basically fun. It's a whole different thing. And so Allison's support for me, again, it's always been there. Not just her, but her parents. Everybody had each other's back, and that's so important. That's the part I think that, sadly, when we talk about relationships and families, that's what most don't have, and that's what we have heavy. You know, we had that heavy. So, and we've been through that. We lost all of our elders, you know, but that element is the foundation. And I think that's the part this I feel bad for other people who don't have that. You know what I mean? Allison had an amazing father. You know what I mean? She had an amazing mom. You know, I had an amazing mom and family. And so many people don't have that. And I always say this: Allison can love me how she loves me because of the way she loved her father. You know, so when that $300,000 a year job was over and I came home, I never felt anything. In those 6 years afterwards, I never felt 1 second of Allison's looking at me a certain way or being disappointed in me or her parents. And I'm just telling you, that's just rare. It's rare, right? It's rare. It's a blessing. And so that's why, you know, when we talk about our relationship or talk about our marriage or all that kind of stuff, it's hard to give advice because most people don't have it. You know, my mother, I always joke because when I lost that job and I was underemployed for all those years, my mom, who's a single Black woman, she looked at Allison like, "Girl, you good?" Because that's that moment. That's that moment when, you know, sister's like, "I didn't sign up for this." But hey, you know, for whatever reason, that wasn't the case for us, and it still isn't. And so the support, man, and like I said, with Allison's parents from the day one, when I was going to the interview to get the job, right? I was on the way. I'm engaged to Allison, right? I show up in DC with no ride and no job. Their superstar, their beautiful superstar daughter who just landed her job, got the job in DC, her hometown. They bring me up. Now, some parents would have been looking at me, Jay, like, for real?
Right.
When I was on the way, when I climbed into her dad's car on the way to the interview, Dad said, "Beloved, you got this. Claim it. It is yours. It's 100% yours. You have it." I mean, and that's Dad just giving it to Mom and Dad. You got it. It was a whole cheering section. Right. And so I went there, and when they hit off the offer, I was sitting across from the table, and he said, "Well, I think we probably need to start you at least 6 figures." You know, I was sitting there like, I read somewhere they said, don't say nothing when you're in negotiation. The next person that talks loses. So I just sat there like nodding my head like, mm-hmm. Okay. He said, "We'll start you at 110 and then we'll do an extension." So on the way home, I was driving home. I was, you know, and that was before the cell phones. I don't think I called you guys. Man, when I hit that door and told them, it was just a party. It was just a party. It was a celebration. And that began the 92Q situation. And so, the support, we've always had that.
And just for me, there's a ton of bad news. Some stories get to me. The stories about, you know, kids get to me. It was hard to navigate with the former president in the White House, and you see how people really feel. You're like, oh, okay, I thought you felt that way, but now I really know how you feel.
Now I know.
We've confirmed.
So I would talk about it. Marc was always a good sounding board for it. But some of the really hard stories, you know, you just have to. You know, my dad was a minister, and I would talk to him about some of the stories. I'm like, why in the world would God let a child be trafficked out here and then, you know, killed? And I remember some of those stories really got to me. And, you know, just I'm human, and I'm a mom, and I'm a wife, and I'm a woman, and all this. So sometimes they just get to you. And then fortunately I had a good system of support. So yeah. So, and that's probably why I try to like crack a joke every now and then too. Because if you don't, you know, it's like you'll go crazy thinking about all the bad stuff in the world. You will go insane. And so you just have to, you know, give it up sometimes.
Right.
I will say now I understand more about you guys' relationship because my dad is a pastor. So I understand the grounding effect, you know, and I know for me, I had the same situation. I would have to talk to my dad about, Dad, why would God do this? Or why would, you know, and he would explain. And so that's what helps me. And even in our relationship, you know, that's what, like, my dad loves this dude. And I'm like, are you sure, Daddy?
Well, but because I feel like her dad is a man's man at the end of the day. And he respects men. So it just, I've never been anything but my normal self. I never tried to put on a show for, you know, her dad or her family, but he's just a man's man. And I overly appreciate that. And you're really speaking of a family, me and my father are like this. Yeah. If you hear us talking, it sounds like me and you talking. It doesn't sound like, you know, I'm talking to my father. It's, you know, my daughter emulates our phone conversation because she hears it in the car. I call, he'll say my name. James Claxton. Man, what's up? You know, and then my daughter be in the passenger seat laughing and emulating us. And it's nothing, you know, that is just a blessing because that's my guy. You know, that's why I have those conversations with, because I usually don't tell anybody my business. So, you know, that's the one guy I can bounce him off because he's been through hell and high water and back, and he's still here to tell a story. So it's, I mean, that's so important and crucial in your life to have a loving family to support what we do, because like you said, none of this is guaranteed. You went from 300K to, hey, I don't have a job anymore. Where's my next dollar coming from? And, you know, and your wife stood tall.
And let me just say this with Jay real quick. Jay is a man's man. And Jay, you know, I can understand why her father loves you, because just like that story you told, you know, we were on, I can still see it, on that vehicle with no cooling. It was hot, but Jay was always, and he was a super young guy then, was always serious. You know, he was serious. So Cassandra, when he asked me, he wasn't BSing. You know, he was like, I saw a young brother who wanted to make something of his life. He wanted to transition, and he was serious. And like you said, when I had that conversation, he took the ball and ran with it. But Jay, you've been that person your whole time. And it's, you know, I know me and Conan have been big influences, but the thing is, you listen and you took the information, and I saw you flourish. You know, I saw you go from, like you said, I remember you were balling out of control, but I remember that guy who was just hungry and asked, what do I need to do? And so that says a lot about who you are. And yeah, brother, that's why a father, a man, picks that up, just like your relationship with your son. You were always from day one. And I guess I was, you know, I've been there since he was a little boy.
Since he was born. I got snowed in the station and he was an infant. You know, I got snowed in the station. They took me around the corner to Days Inn or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, and we got snowed in around there near the arena. And that's what they had us at. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Wow.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
But you took that responsibility. That was having a son was very important for you. You're serious about it. And I commend you for that, bro. No,
man. Thank you so much. And I spoke to Conan today, actually. We talked actually for about 45 minutes. Full disclosure, I have MS. I was diagnosed. I don't even know when, because I don't necessarily claim it. And I was going to get my infusion, and me and him talked. We talked for about 40 minutes. And I just, you know, just wanted to talk to him. You know, that's my guy. We've been through hell and high water together as well. And we could have like men conversations and kind of lean on each other sometimes. And we wasn't having a conversation with nobody else in the station. We leaned on each other, and we came back the next day and got it in. So it just, you guys play a really pivotal and crucial role in in my career. I was blessed, and I could not listen to somebody that had done it before me, and I think that's where sometimes she tells me not to not to generalize the younger generation, but I listened and waited my turn. What you told me when you gave me the food, I took the meal, I ate it, I digested it, and was appreciative of the meal that you gave me, the food you gave me. Sometimes what I've noticed with younger, the younger generation coming up, they don't necessarily take that information in. It's like, because of social media, I'm the guy now. I'm the guy now. You're not the guy, fam. You're not. You ain't did the work. You ain't sacrificed. You ain't been snowed in the station. You haven't done it. And that's okay. But don't stick your chest out like you King Jaffe Jova, ruler of Zamunda. You not, fam. You silly.
Yeah.
Right. You silly. Right. You silly. You ain't King Jaffe. You not. You know what I'm saying? You not.
Social media has a lot to do with that, I think.
Right. Yes, definitely does. It definitely does. For all its positives, it brings some negatives as well. Nobody tells the real story. Everybody's rich. Nobody took a loss. Everybody's balling out of control. Everybody's successful. Everybody is eating at Del Fresco's and Ruth Chris and buying cars and all of that. And we trying to impress people that don't give a goddamn about you at all, which is crazy too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It is crazy.
What challenges have you guys come up with raising a family and having really demanding careers?
Like Marc said, so we kind of lost our parents in a short period of time. But before that, I think because of them, we were able to really, they never had like an outside babysitter. They were always at their grandparents' house, and that was really their, you talk about big mama, I get it. Like, I had a big mama in Memphis, and my mother was the kid's big mama. And then when Marc's mom moved here, she became an extra support system. But it was like they stood in the gap, and they really were like second parents when we had to do what we did. But we were also lucky because we mainly worked morning hours. We were able to be there, pick them up from school. And that was our first priority. None of that other stuff really mattered to us. We're not like, we did our partying before we got married, back in St. Louis and the whole thing. We didn't really miss it. It became friend-based, and we just sort of concentrated on this family that we had there. But then there was that time, Marc was gone for 3 years. He commuted from New York, as you know, for 3 years when the girls were, I forget the ages exactly, but to your credit, you came home every weekend. So every weekend he was on the bus coming home to the DC area. And so we didn't, we both knew that was our number one priority.
And I think that's why, like Jay, you mentioned the Valley. I can't question the Valley anymore, because when I lost my gig in Baltimore, now I was Mr. Mom for 6 years. And little did I know that 6 years of that one-on-one time with the girls would allow me to take the New York gig. You know what I mean? So that, you can't question it. It was there for a reason. In fact, I remember when I, not long after I got let go at 92Q, we went out. We hadn't been out for a long time. And Mom and Dad got in a car wreck.
Yeah.
And so because I was around, I could help nurse them back. So help them back, watch the girls, and then the New York gig comes, boom, and coming home every weekend, we didn't really miss a beat because we had the support system, and me and the girls had that kind of relationship as a family where we didn't have that distance. We were still close. And then when I resigned to come home to take care of Dad, I resigned New York to come home and take care when Dad moved in with us. Another situation where I come home, I give up that 6-figure job, which I hadn't had that kind of money, Jay, in a minute. So a part of you's like, wow, but you come home and do that. And then when Dad passed 10 months later, you get the call from WHUR. So when in those valleys, I've noticed that every time I'm in that valley, whatever shows up next is bigger and better and just a part of the whole journey. But again, having the family that gives you the patience, having someone like my wife who gives who I don't have to feel like, that's a terrible feeling when somebody's looking at you like you ain't really doing your part. Allison
Right.
never does that, and so that allows me to feel that way.
Right. You know what? I want to ask. I want to kind of switch gears, and something that actually kind of got under my skin, and we didn't even have a chance to talk about it because usually we talk about, we'll bounce some things off each other, but the artist Danny Lay had that song. I don't know if you guys heard about it, but she had a song called Yellowbone, and they were actually really dragging her because she talked about the color of her skin. Not that because she was light skinned, she was better than anybody. All she did was saying that I love what I am. And it was crazy how they were coming at her. But when you hear songs like brown skin, things of that nature, that's okay. And I don't know, because I've dealt with that, being a fast guy. I've heard all the time, hey, you don't act like a light skinned guy, or you just light skinned, or I don't do light skinned guys, or I was so lost in that whole thing. I was lost. Like, we are the same, regardless of our skin tone. We just come in different shades. To me, we the same. We put our underwear on the same way. You know what I'm saying? Ladies put their panties on the same way. We the same.
Those who wear them.
We the same. This nasty ass. We the same. You know what I'm saying? We're the same. And I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure, but I did want to bring that up to everybody, because I felt a certain kind of way. I felt like they were really getting on her because she was.
I don't think you should.
She was saying she was.
I don't think
proud of how she looked.
I don't think you should, and I'm gonna let Allison and Marc respond, but I don't think you should, because the most racist people against African Americans are African Americans.
Right. That's true. That's true. So I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I'll just say that, it's interesting. It really breaks my heart that we find ourselves still in this situation where, we're still tearing each other down. And especially after what we've all been through with these last couple of years. And we see it culminating with what happened at the U.S. Capitol.
Right.
Before this election, before the inauguration. And we see the forces that are out there, and it's like Malcolm X said, it's like we still out here bamboozled and hoodwinked.
Hoodwinked and bamboozled.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, I feel like the systemic racism and all of that, that's one thing. But a lot of the work that's been done to put that hatred in our hearts for each other, it's done its job, because they can sit back and be like, now watch them tear each other apart. Watch them do it. You know what I mean? And it's sad. But I will say though that I understand that there is colorism, that there is different, the way people react to different people because of their skin tones, is not fair. I will say that definitely does exist, but we should be able to say, I'm beautiful in this skin tone, my sister's beautiful in that skin tone, and not be afraid to express yourself that way. So that's what I'll say on that.
I think what happened with that, and I think the problem with what she did was it. And I think I see, speaking of Instagram and speaking to young people, one of the things that I think is a big issue, even though we're like an age of information where all the information is there, a lot of young people don't have a good sense of context. So, if you don't understand the history where a light-skinned person was valued more highly than a dark-skinned person, if you don't understand the history, if you say, I got it going on, and I'm light-skinned and I love my skin, it's almost like, yeah, we know that was what was put forward to create the separation. So I think what happens, you're kind of being deaf to what history says, and kind of she kind of like you're aligning yourself right along with what history says, So that's, and I think young people a lot of times they don't have that context, so therefore they don't know. It's like I always tell my daughter, we're talking about when she's getting a piercing or whatever. I said, okay, it'd be like if you come home and you have a bone in your nose and you're black, right? Because people get piercings. So you have every right to have a bone in your nose. To understand the context. Now there was a time when they used to draw cartoons with us with bones in our noses and say what an African is, right? And so you don't have to go with that, but if you don't have any idea of it, you may not understand what the reactions are when people see you, or whatever. So if you understand the context, it makes you look at it differently. Not saying she's right or wrong. I'm just saying she probably didn't even understand the context. Like my daughters were saying, Jay, like the difference between like men now. Like my daughters say, boys now will say their handle will be curly haired, light skin. And that'll be their Instagram title or whatever, right? Now, when we were coming up, Jay, I don't care how good looking your ass was. If you put how you look as your title, you'll get ready to get clowned by all the fellas, right?
Definitely. What kind of goofball are you?
But it's like it's different, So it's a changing of the time. Maybe there are good things and bad things, but that's all. I think sometimes it's just the context, and we still have those hard things. Like my mother was the dark-skinned sister, so my mom, even at 70 and 80, she still had feelings when any kind of that thing came up, because she was the darkest of her sisters. She would just be so emotional about it, So yeah,
and it's I'm a man's man, and sometimes that's hurt me with some things. And when I say that, I feel like just because this bag is a Louis bag, I don't want to look like what Allison and Cassandra wears, because to me that looks like that, right? Now I get it. It is the trend. I understand. But that trend isn't for me. I have, I'm gonna have a book bag, but that's not for me. I'm not going to do that at all. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do that at all. I'm not going to wear a bag that looks like a purse. And that's, if you do it, that's okay. But that's just not for me. I'm not really here to judge, but that's not for me. You got a bag on, you look like a purse, and you're really, and you got your gun in your purse,
right.
Your gun, you got a gun.
Cassandra, get your man, please. Get your man.
I can't.
Right.
However,
I don't want to wear. I don't want to wear a satchel.
Oh my gosh!
I don't want to wear a satchel, Mark.
Okay. But do you guys see that I have on a friend shirt?
I see you, girl. Yeah.
Nostalgic.
I didn't like that show. I'm sorry.
I didn't like the show, but we're sitting here with our friends.
I'm sorry.
We're sitting here with our friends, and it is 7:45. We have talked for 45 amazing minutes. Before we start our game.
That's the producing you.
Yes. Before we start our game.
Like, hurry it up.
Yeah, hurry it up. Before we start our game, what I want to say is, of course, Mark, we're happy that you're here. But I want to say a special thank you to Allison, because she sacrificed to stay up to do this with her. I understand the shift that she is on.
Right.
Yeah.
I did with little kids.
Right.
So, and I know right now I could not do it again.
Right. I was going to ask, and I really was going to ask, what is that like? What is bedtime? What is the cutoff like for you, Allison? Like Mark also, because you did mornings for years. What is that cutoff?
The bad thing is I'm a night person, so I try to like stay up and all that, and I'm exhausted in the morning. But this job that I'm on now, I'm in at 3 in the morning, so I'm up at 2 in the morning. So it's about to be my bedtime for real.
Right.
Get into bed and just try to wind down or whatever. By 9 o'clock, I'm good.
So I was the producer, so I had to be in at midnight.
Oh, yes.
Right. I had to be in at midnight, but I got off at 7 in the morning, so I was,
you had the whole day to yourself.
Yeah. No, I did not. I had to sleep.
That's
Right. Okay.
So it is again 7:46 now, and we are about to do some games. My favorite thing is to play games. So I am going to ask 2 questions, and Jay's gonna ask one boring question. I'm gonna ask 2.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm going to ask 2 questions. My first question, you guys are to look at each other and answer it until you cannot answer it anymore, okay? And I'll give you an example. The second one, you can just answer. And then we'll go to Jay's question. So my first question is, our love is like. So for me, if it's us, I would say our love is like the fresh morning breeze. It refreshes me every time I think about it. You are not that emotional.
So no.
You are not that good, brother.
No. But you know what I was thinking.
What?
I can't say it on here.
Oh my God.
You know what
I know what you would think.
Okay.
Well, can you answer the question? So your love.
Oh no, one more time. Because this is a new question.
Our love is like.
Our love is like classic R&B.
Woo!
Yo, I think sometimes she be trying to test me. Like, I'm so built for it. I'm so built for it. She can't. I think she's trying to test me. I'm built.
Your love is like.
Okay, so I go and then you go?
You go, yeah.
Okay. Our love is like a rain on a Sunday when all you got to do is stay home.
Our love is like iron sharpening iron, getting stronger with each day.
Oh,
I like that.
Our love is like a 2-scoop sundae with hot chocolate and whipped cream and a cherry and peanuts.
Our love is the first time you bite into wings and when you dip them in the blue cheese and look at something you look and you got it.
And that's up our love. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
What kind of wings, Marc? What kind of wings?
I like the crunchy wings.
He likes the plain wings.
I like the plain wings. I like to dip them. I like to dip them.
Right. I'm a lemon pepper guy. I'm a lemon or Old Bay guy.
You got the blue cheese right
there. No, with the blue cheese on the side of your mouth.
You know, in the corner is.
Right.
I'm sorry. I apologize. So my second question is a little bit more serious. It's without you. Okay. So without you, I've already said without you I can't breathe. But without you, I wouldn't be able to do the things that I have done. I wouldn't be able to move the way that I move. I wouldn't be the person that I have evolved to be. Because without you
better believe it.
You're right. Without you, it would not be Dr. Cassandra. Without you, it would just be Cassandra.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Without you, I would not have grown into the person that I am today, because I really can look in the mirror and see the growth, and that came with you. I mean, at this point, I don't have to have a bunch of people around me. That's not even how I move now. And that growth has I've grown so much, because of you. I've learned certain things. I've seen certain things that I would never be able to see if you weren't on my left.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. No problem.
Go ahead, y'all.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Without you, I wouldn't have experienced the joy of living the kind of life that I dreamed of, including my children, the quality of love. I've never had the quality of love in my life until I met you. And without you, I would not have understood the power of partnership and parenting and also legacy.
Without you, I would not have known laughter every day with I mean, straight up, like, I can't breathe laughter. Without you, I would not have known the pleasure of being a wife for almost 21 years and a mother to 3 amazing girls. And without you, my life would be incomplete. And that's straight up.
Okay.
He's so.
She said, that's straight up. Bottom line. All right. Bottom line.
It's your turn. What's your boring game?
You know what? Listen, my game is not boring. I mean, at the end of the day, unfortunately, I'm still a TV guy, and I love TV, and I love a nostalgic 70s, 80s TV.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to tell you my top 5 TV shows with one off the bench, Sanford and Son is number one. Number one, most amazing, incredible show to me, right? Cosby Show, number 2. I still don't know if my man Bill did what they said
he didn't do it.
Yeah, I don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? I do believe he's innocent. Right?
He didn't do it.
Right. Because none of them were that. I'm sorry. I'm going to say
Don't do it. Don't do it. Go to your next.
It really wasn't that attractive.
Go to your next.
You know what I'm saying?
Go to your next.
Number 3 is, unfortunately, I did not know that this flag on top of the car meant what it meant. You know, when I was a little kid, it was this Dodge Challenger that was jumping over stuff, and they was hopping in and out of cars.
We all love it.
Exactly.
I thought it was the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. And number 4, because I liked it as a kid, but then as I got older, I was like, damn, I didn't know this was this kind of like spot on a little bit. Was WKRP in Cincinnati.
Okay.
You know, Herb was the sales guy, you know, general manager, you know, you had all of that. And it was just funny because, you know, ended up being in radio. And number 5 is 2.5 Men with Charlie Sheen.
What?
Yes, because Charlie was playing Charlie. Drove a big car, house on the beach, smoked cigars, he drank, and had a bunch of women. I thought it was an amazing show, you know, and his brother was just the total opposite. Amazing show. And my 6 off the bench tends to change depending on how I'm feeling. But I feel like the Chappelle Show was light years ahead of its time. And I love Fresh Prince. If you ask me about Fresh Prince and Martin, I'm gonna take Fresh Prince over Martin all the time. So they're my top 5. Your top 5 TV shows. If you got one off the bench, you can give me your extra. Allison, you go first. Ladies first.
Okay, well, because you said Martin, and because I got a special place in my heart for Marty Marr in this area, I'm gonna go Martin.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Order. This won't be in order, but I love the Cosby Show, A Different World, Martin. I love Living Single. I'm gonna go with Girlfriends.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
Good. So yeah, Martin, Cosby Show, Sanford and Son. Chico died yesterday, by the way. You saw that?
What the goat?
No, What's
No.
the goat's owner?
Huh?
His name's not Chico.
No, his name's Julio.
Julio died.
Yeah,
Julio.
I was like, the goat had to been died already.
Oh, Chico and the Man.
Right.
And the Jeffersons.
Okay.
I didn't. And then Good Times.
Good Times, exactly.
See, Good Times ain't do it for me, Mark.
But
they never
listen,
got out the project.
So
You know what? Good Times. I got tired of Good Times, if I'm honest. But you know what? So let me throw in there Hong Kong Phooey and Johnny Quest. Then if we're gonna, I'll do that.
Hong Kong Phooey was my thing.
So
Yeah.
let me tell you something that you probably don't know about Dukes of Hazzard, because I found this out yesterday. So did you know that Bo Duke is on Haves and Haves Not?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Tyler Perry giving him that check.
I know.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. So yesterday, my sister says, I said something about I wanted to go home and watch Dukes of Hazzard, and my sister was like, "Well, you don't watch the Have and Have Not. You don't really like these. I said, why not? She said, because Bo Duke is on there. I was like, I gotta tell Jay. Oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry. I digress.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know.
The weird thing about him is I actually met him. He came into Fox. Great guy, charming. He knows that the ladies love him, and he's got this whole thing. So I was really disappointed to see that he was one of the people who bailed my man out, who went to the protest with the shotgun and rolled up and killed the protester, and then rolled up to the cops like this.
The kid.
Oh, the kid. Okay.
The kid. Wisconsin. Yeah. Wisconsin.
Yeah. Him and Ricky Schroeder.
I'll be interested to see if Tyler Perry still employs him. But he
wow.
was the show.
Well, you know, they ended that show. They, my sister told me they ended that show in May. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they should fire him.
Well,
yeah. Sorry to do that to you.
Yeah, they
sorry,
should.
Sorry, y'all.
Yeah, now I can't watch it anymore.
Right.
Now that's out of my top 5 now. That's out of my,
right?
out of my top 5.
Thanks, Allison. Thanks, Allison, for being
the Times is back in. Yeah.
I'm gonna move Dave Chappelle up.
Look, Jay, thank you, Allison. Thanks, Allison.
I'm gonna move Chappelle show up. Clayton Bigsby, Black White Supremacist.
Oh my gosh.
So
listen, it's 7:57. You're gonna do a rap, and then we're gonna have a few minutes of conversation.
Okay.
Off camera.
Okay.
So.
All right, because I gotta go to the facilities.
Okay.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Right. No. I first and foremost, I want to thank you guys for taking time out of your schedule. You know, with the girls, with Allison, you have to be to work at 2, 3 in the morning. Marc, I'm just thankful that you guys took time to sit and talk to us and give us the food. A lot of times, I mean, we call it Love and Business on Lock, and we get so much from our guests. I mean, we're supposed to get the food to the people watching, but we get a lot of food as well of how to maneuver. And again, you guys been married, over 20 years. So there's food. I mean, you guys have to serve a great meal. You have gems that people just don't have. So we're so thankful for that. And before I kind of wrap up, how can they follow everything that you have going on social media, websites, etc.? Please, this is your shameless plug.
So I wish I knew all my handles by heart. I know on Instagram, I'm Allison Seymour 66. On Facebook, you'll find me. Just put Allison Seymour TV or something. Yeah. And you can, we got a great family on there. And then Marc and I have a Facebook page, Allison and Marc in the Afternoon. Yeah. And then I'm also on Twitter, though I cannot remember the handle, but I really answer. I follow people back. I'd love to hear conversation. I will block a hater in a minute. And
I know that's right.
And new website, reinventingmarcclarke.com. Just launched it today. Excited about that. And it's got everything there. So, yeah.
Oh, cool.
And every morning at 7:15 on Facebook Live, every weekday morning, I have a message on the treadmill, about 25, 30 minutes, and just kind of a positive message, move your body. This moves your body, and that's on Allison and Marc in the Afternoon for that. And then on the radio, you can hear us on iHeartRadio. All you got to do is look at 100 Hip Hop and R&B FM. But if you just look at Allison and Marc in the Afternoon and just put that out there, it'll take you to one of the many platforms we're on.
Right. Get the check. Right. Get the check.
And also the Allison and Marc app. You can download the Allison and Marc app and then follow our radio stuff there too. Yeah.
And so we're going to do that. And we probably need to talk to you guys offline about the process of the app as well. So.
Oh yeah. I got an app guy for you. I got a guy.
Right, okay.
You got a guy for me.
Thank you so much. Listen, I try to tell people all the time, please, feed your thoughts, feed your soul. Listen to some positive audio, read some positive books. There's so much negative energy out here in the world. You kind of need that to be able to move and maneuver the right way without using emotion. So keep all negative things out of your circle. Please stay as positive as you can and sacrifice and work your ass off to get to the goal. That is my message for Love and Business on Lock. Franchise J. Claxton, Cassandra Vaughn,
We will
Allison
see you
Seymour,
Friday.
and Marc Clarke. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. All right.
And we'll see everybody on Friday at 8 o'clock. 8
Thank
o'clock. We will see you on Friday. Guys, give me 1 second.